Night air in Festac was heavy and hot. The car park behind Orange Lounge felt too quiet, just humming neon and the soft hiss of a generator. Lanre Okonkwo, 30, dark-skinned, low haircut, clean-shaven, buttoned Ankara shirt and dark jeans, pressed his key fob. Lights blinked. From the shadows, 3 young women stepped out in heel clicks and perfume. Amaka, 22, ebony skin, long knotless braids tied with red beads, red mini dress, gold bangles. Sade, 24, dark-skinned, sharp pixie cut, Ankara crop top with high-waist skirt, thin gold anklet, and Zinli, 23, deep brown skin, big natural afro puff, denim jacket over black bodycon. You said you'd sort us. Z's voice was calm, like rain before a storm. Lanra frowned. I never promised iPhones. I said let's talk like adults. A motorbike engine growled near the gate. A rider in a helmet slowed, visor down. Sade's hand slid into a small glittery purse. A cold flash. A sound like a heavy book slammed shut. Lanri staggered, phone tumbling, screen bright with a half-typed message. His back touched the car. He slid down, breath thinning. The motorbike peeled off. The women's heels snapped the night, then softened. A tiny charm clinked on the ground, an S on a gold anklet. Overhead, a red CCTV light blinked. From the guardroom, someone was watching. A door creaked, a shadow moved, a hand reached for the fallen anklet, then paused as the lounge alarm finally began to wail. Cliffhanger. Who just picked up the anklet, and what will they do with it? Lanry had never been the type to chase trouble. He handled numbers for a construction company in Lagos Island and sent money home to his widowed mother every month. He liked neat shirts, clean jokes, and grilled fish by the lagoon on Fridays. That afternoon, he'd visited his younger sister, Ada, 19, cocoa brown skin, slim, beaded cornrows, simple tee and jeans, at her school hostel to drop foodstuff and a small allowance. Don't walk alone at night, he'd said. Ada rolled her eyes and hugged him anyway. Orange Lounge wasn't his usual place. His friend Tola, 31, dark-skinned, low-fade, white caftan, had dragged him there for a colleague's birthday. Music thumped, lights spun, bottles clinked, and a trend was breathing through the hall like smoke. Girls filming short clips, pouting at ring lights, and whispering one phrase again and again. iPhone babes. In this city, status was loud. A new iPhone meant you were someone. They entered like a small storm. Amaka with her red beads, Sade with that fierce pixie, Z with the quiet eyes that read people fast. The trio were known online, small skits, soft life posts, designer bags, and a belief that men who wanted time must pay with brand new Fruit logo phones. People called them iPhone babes. Some said it with envy, some said it with fear. Lanray first noticed them because they were laughing too hard at nothing. He smiled and looked away. But fate does not ask for permission. Tola introduced someone, then someone introduced someone else, and suddenly the women were at their table. Hello, fine men, Sade said, playful, tapping her anklet to the beat. Lanry nodded politely, kept his voice light, bought a round of small chops, and stuck to water. Z watched him. He wasn't flashing, wasn't thirsty, wasn't tugging to impress. That made him interesting. It also made him a problem. Later, when the music softened, words started to move like cards on a table. Don't you think it's cute when a gentleman gifts? Amaka asked, sliding her phone screen close. Pictures of the latest model. Purple case, price written like a dare. Lanry chuckled. Gifts come from the heart, not from force. And a beg, let's not turn life to receipts. Z's eyes narrowed with curiosity. So what do you value? Peace, he said. Family. Work that makes sense. He raised his bottle of water. And sense. They laughed, but the laugh had an edge. Online, girls who posted with iPhones attracted deals and free clothes. Offline, some of them held invisible debts. Rents due, mothers waiting on hospital lines, younger brothers needing school fees. Between the filters and the street, there was a gap. Inside that gap, people sometimes fell. When the party thinned, Tola dragged Lanray to the corridor for air. Guy, relax, Tola said with a grin. This life no too hard. Get someone's number. You've been too quiet since Kioma left. I'm fine, Lanre said. Let's head out before traffic turns wicked. But as they walked, Amaka drifted beside them. We're going to the after spot. You two coming? Tola was already nodding when Lanre's phone buzzed. A message from Ada. Brother, hostel gate closes at 11. You home? Lanre typed back, leaving soon. Lock your door. Then he looked up at Amaka's hopeful face. Rain check, he said. Tomorrow's a work day. Said's smile cooled. At least handle something before you go, she said. Z's cousin sells phones. We can meet now. Quick pick. 5 minutes. Be a man. Be a man? Lanre repeated, amused, not angry. Sister, being a man is not buying what you can't afford. It is saying no. The corridor's laughter froze. That small word, no, landed like a plate shattering. Amaka glanced at Said. Sade glanced at Z. Z said nothing, but silence is a kind of speech. They parted. Tola and Lanre exited through the back lot to avoid a noisy argument about bills at the front. The guardroom TV glowed with a football replay. An old man, Baba Segan, 55, dark-skinned, gray stubble, Navy security uniform, rubber slippers, sipped tea and stared through the window. He knew faces. He knew patterns. Abuja plates, mainland boys, island money, and lately, the iPhone girls. His phone buzzed. A WhatsApp from his nephew. Uncle, pals borrow small money. I swear I'll pay. He sighed, eyes returning to the camera feed that watched the back lot. He didn't like what he saw, the girls shifting close to the men, the small purse glinting like a fish scale, the motorbike rolling into frame. He stood up, but age makes movement slow. When the crack came, short, flat, final, he flinched so hard his tea spilled. His radio scratched. He reached for the SOS button and paused. 3 choices dropped in his mind with the weight of 3 stones. Hit the alarm and risk chaos, step outside and risk a bullet, or do nothing and become a ghost in his own life. He hit the alarm. Lights screamed. Shadows scattered. In the confusion, Said's anklet snapped loose and fell. Baba Sigun saw it on the screen as if a close-up camera had chosen that small gold S. He left the guardroom at a cautious jog and reached the spot first. Lanre's eyes were half open, breath thin, body slack. No gore, just terrible quiet. Stay with me, young man, the old guard whispered, quick hands steadying, his mind counting breaths like prayers. He looked at the anklet and then at the cameras. He picked up the charm and slipped it into his pocket. Not to steal, to remember. To make sure truth did not drown. Across town, the iPhone babes regrouped in a short-let apartment. White curtains, neon sign, soft rug, ring lights still glowing. Amaka paced, shaking. It wasn't supposed to go like that, she said. We just wanted scare. You aimed? Said demanded. You sure? I didn't fire, Said snapped. Her hands trembled as she gripped her glittery purse. It jammed. Someone else. They turned to Z. She sat on the arm of a couch, calm again, hair puffed like a dark cloud. We can cry later. Right now we clean our footprints, she said. No phones, no posts, and we find that guard. Cameras don't forget. Miriam, 21, deep brown skin, honey blonde bob wig, oversized hoodie and leggings, had been quiet the whole time. She thought about her mother's cough medicine on the kitchen shelf, about rent due, about the foolishness of big city hunger. She pulled out a cheap Nokia and typed a message she quickly erased. Then she grabbed her scarf and slipped out. She had someone to find. Back at the lounge, police sirens cut the night. Officer James, 45, tall, dark skin, clean low cut, green police uniform, crouched over Lanre with the paramedics. Check pulse. Oxygen now. They worked fast, silent. The world hung on a thin thread. Ada's phone lit in her hostel room, no new message from her brother. She hugged her pillow and said a small prayer. In the guardroom, Baba Sigan rewound footage frame by frame. There, faces, shoes, the anklet, the motorbike, the purse. He transferred the video to an old flash drive, hands steady. The door creaked. He turned. Amaka and Sada stood there, faces smooth, eyes sharp, perfume strong enough to hide fear. Z's silhouette hovered behind them. "We came to check on the man," Amaka said sweetly. "We heard a sound." "And to thank you for your service," Saad added, sliding out a small bundle of cash from the glitter purse. "Old men deserve comfort." Baba Sagun looked at the money, then at the flash drive, then at their eyes. On the table beside him sat the anklet with the S. He did not smile. The alarm still echoed faintly like a heartbeat. From the corridor, footsteps approached. Heavy, disciplined. Officer James was coming toward the guardroom. Said's fingers tightened on the purse. Something metal clicked inside it. The old man's hand hovered over the flash drive. He had 1 second to choose which way his life would bend. The room felt like two worlds colliding, the stiff air of truth clashing with the heavy scent of perfume. Baba Sagan's eyes darted from the anklet to the flash drive, then to Sade's glittery purse. He knew enough to sense that her hand wasn't holding lipstick. Behind them, Z's shadowy figure leaned against the doorframe, calm as a judge waiting for a verdict. Officer James's boots thumped closer. The women's faces flickered with panic, but quickly melted back into charm. Amaka bent lower, her red beads swinging, whispering so only Baba Sagan could hear. "Take the money, Baba. We'll add more tomorrow. Forget what you saw. Old age is sweet when your pockets are heavy." Her voice was soft, but the threat beneath it was sharp. If he refused, they weren't leaving him alive. Said's grip inside the purse tightened. The faint click of a pistol safety echoed like a snake hissing. And then, bang! The door burst open. Officer James entered, towering, flashlight blazing. "What's going on here?" he barked, scanning the tense faces. His gaze settled on the women, then the trembling old man, then the bundle of cash on the table. Said instantly pulled her hand out, empty, pretending to adjust her skirt. Amaka smiled too brightly. Z merely folded her arms, watching James with eyes that hid nothing and revealed everything. "Nothing, officer," Amaka cooed. "We were just worried about the man outside. We heard something happened, so we came to check." James raised a brow, suspicion sharp in his stare. He looked at Baba Sagan, whose throat had gone dry. Sweat trickled down his temple. In his pocket, the flash drive burned like fire. If he spoke, the girls could silence him forever. If he stayed quiet, Lanry's truth would vanish into the night. Before James could press further, a paramedic rushed into the guardroom. "The victim's alive, sir. Weak pulse, but stable for now. We're rushing him to Lagoon Hospital." A weight lifted, but not fully. Alive today didn't mean alive tomorrow. James straightened. "Good. I'll be questioning everyone." His eyes lingered on the trio. "No one leaves." The words cracked through the room. Amaka and Sade stiffened. Z simply smiled, but inside, their plan was collapsing. Across town, Miriam slipped into a narrow street lit by kerosene lamps. She pulled her hoodie tighter, heartbeat loud. She dialed a number, whispered, "We're in deep trouble," then hung up quickly. Her loyalty to the group was cracking. She'd seen enough to know that Z's calm was dangerous, and Said's temper was a ticking bomb. She wasn't going down with them. At Lagoon Hospital, Ada burst through the doors in her hostel slippers, face streaked with tears. She found her brother unconscious, pale, wires beeping softly beside him. She grabbed his hand, whispering, "Brother, wake up. Please wake up." The doctor shook his head. "He's lucky, but he needs prayers and police protection. Whoever did this may try again." Ada froze. Try again? That meant they weren't finished. Back at Orange Lounge, tension tightened like a rope around throats. Officer James ordered 2 junior officers to escort the women to a waiting area. As they stepped away, Z leaned close to Baba Sagan and whispered one chilling sentence. "Be careful what you keep, because the night doesn't forgive." The old man's knees almost buckled. When the room emptied, James turned back to Baba. Tell me the truth. What did you see? Baba Segun's hand trembled as it brushed against the flash drive. His lips parted, but before he could answer, the lights flickered, then went out completely. Darkness swallowed the room. A scream pierced the corridor. Footsteps thundered. A gunshot cracked. The old man clutched the flash drive to his chest, heart pounding. In that split second of darkness, he realized someone wasn't waiting for the investigation. They were here to silence everything. The gunshot rang out, echoing through the lounge like thunder trapped in a bottle. People screamed. Bottles shattered on the floor. In the blackout, confusion wrapped the place like a suffocating blanket. Baba Segun dropped to his knees behind the guard table, clutching the flash drive so tightly his knuckles hurt. His old soldier's instinct screamed, "Stay low, stay alive." Officer James barked orders in the darkness. "Secure the exits. No one moves." His flashlight beam cut across the room like a sword, slicing shadows into fragments. The light caught a chilling sight. A junior officer sprawled in the hallway, clutching his shoulder, blood seeping between his fingers. He had been the one hit. Panic rippled through the police unit. The iPhone babes huddled in a corner. Amaka was trembling, her red beads shaking against her chest. Sade's jaw was set, eyes darting like a trapped lioness. Z was calm. She simply adjusted her denim jacket and whispered, "This blackout, it's perfect." Her words didn't sound like fear. They sounded like strategy. At Lagoon Hospital, Ada was still at Lanra's bedside when her phone buzzed. It was a call from Tola. His voice trembled. "Ada, listen to me. Don't leave the hospital. There's something bad going on at Orange Lounge. It's not safe. These girls, they're not normal trouble." Ada's stomach knotted. She gripped Lanra's hand tighter, whispering, "Brother, please don't leave me now. I need you to fight." But she knew she had to make a decision, stay by his side, or warn the police about the women her brother had mentioned before the attack. Back at the lounge, power flickered back. The lights blinked on, revealing chaos. Officers scrambled. The wounded man groaned, and there, right by the side exit, stood Miriam. Hoodie half off, eyes wide, caught in the act of trying to slip away. "Stop right there!" Officer James roared, raising his gun. Miriam froze. Tears welled in her eyes. Please, I didn't fire. I swear it wasn't me. I was just trying to get away before they kill me too." Every head turned toward the iPhone babes. Amaka gasped. Sade hissed under her breath. Z only raised an eyebrow, as if she had expected Miriam's betrayal all along. "Talk, girl," James demanded. "What do you mean, before they kill you too?" Miriam's lips trembled. They have someone else. Someone outside. The writer. He's not finished." Before she could say another word, a stone crashed through the window with a note tied to it. Officer James ripped it open. His face hardened as he read, "No phones, no police. Bring the drive or more blood will flow. Midnight, Wharf Road." The room fell silent. The threat wasn't just real, it was personal. James turned to Baba Segun. "What drive?" The old man's heart thudded. His secret was now exposed. Slowly, with trembling fingers, he pulled out the small flash drive from his pocket. All eyes locked on it. Amaka's breath caught. Sade clenched her fists. Z's calm smile deepened, as though she had just won a silent war. "This," James whispered, holding it up. "This is the key." But before relief could settle, the sound of revving engines roared outside. Several motorbikes, getting closer. The war wasn't waiting for midnight. The roar of motorbikes grew louder, circling the lounge like vultures. The neon lights outside flickered red and blue as shadows zipped past the windows. Everyone inside froze. The police, the girls, even Baba Segun, clutching the edge of the table with trembling hands. Officer James snapped into action. "Barricade the doors! Get the wounded officer to cover!" He pointed at two constables who scrambled to drag their bleeding colleague behind a sofa. The bikers revved again, closer this time. Tires screeched against the pavement, and then, bang! Glass shattered as a bottle of fire crashed through the front window. Flames licked across the floor. People screamed. The lounge erupted into chaos. Amaka shrieked, clutching her braids. "They've come for us!" Sade pulled her arm, snarling, "Shut up! You'll get us killed faster!" But her own eyes betrayed panic. And Z just stood calm in the chaos, denim jacket catching the firelight, face unreadable. She muttered to herself, "They're early. Good." Officer James heard her. His instincts flared. Was she expecting this? Was she part of it? He turned sharply. "Segun, that drive. Hide it now." The old guard hesitated. His eyes darted between the police, the trembling women, and the fire spreading across the carpet. He knew the drive was a death sentence if it stayed in his pocket. Before he could act, Miriam screamed, "They're here!" The back door burst open. 3 masked men stormed in, guns raised. The motorbikes outside kept circling, engines snarling like hungry wolves. Everyone hit the ground. Shots cracked into the ceiling, raining plaster dust. "Where's the drive?" one of the masked men bellowed, voice deep, accented, demanding. His gun swung toward Officer James. The officer didn't flinch. He held his stance, pistol drawn, eyes burning. "Put that down before you regret it." The man laughed coldly. "You think Lagos police scare us? Bring the drive, or we burn this place with all of you inside." Sade's head snapped toward Baba Segun. "Give it to them," she hissed, "before they kill us." "No," Amaka cried, her voice breaking. "If they get it, it's over, we're finished." Z only smiled, tilting her head, as if enjoying the unraveling fear. "You see? The night always demands payment." Baba Segun's knees shook. His hand slipped into his pocket, fingers brushing the flash drive. Sweat ran down his cheek. Every second felt like a year. But then, bang. Another shot rang out. This one was real, not warning. A bullet slammed into the wall inches above his head. Dust rained over him. The masked man cocked his gun again. "Last chance, old man. The drive or you die." All eyes locked on Baba Segun. His trembling hand began to pull the flash drive from his pocket, when suddenly the ground beneath them vibrated with a new sound. Sirens, multiple, growing louder. Backup was coming. The masked men cursed, exchanging frantic looks. One grabbed Amaka's wrist. "We're taking her," he growled. Collateral. Amaka screamed, thrashing, her beads flying. Officer James raised his pistol, aiming square at the man's head. "Touch her, and you won't leave this place alive." The room held its breath. Fire crackled. Engines roared. Sirens wailed closer. Baba Segun clutched the flash drive to his chest. And then, the lights cut out again. Total darkness. A single gunshot. A scream. Silence. The darkness swallowed everything. The only sounds were heavy breathing, the crackle of fire eating into the carpet, and the faint buzz of the generator outside. Then, another scream cut through the night, high-pitched, sharp, and full of terror. The lights blinked back on. The scene froze like a photograph. Amaka was on the ground, clutching her arm, blood seeping between her fingers. The masked man who had grabbed her was gone, disappeared into the smoke and chaos. The back door banged against the wall, swinging on broken hinges. Officer James barked, "Secure the exits! They've taken someone!" But before he could finish, Baba Segun's cracked voice shouted, "The flash drive! It's gone!" Everyone turned. His hand was shaking, pocket empty. In the confusion, someone had snatched the drive. Sade's eyes widened. "What do you mean, gone?" She lunged at the old man, shaking him. "Where is it?" "It was here, he cried, pointing at his pocket, tears filling his eyes. "Somebody took it when the lights went out." Z's lips curved into a faint smile. Calm, as if she had been expecting this all along. "The night always takes what it's owed." James turned on her, fury in his eyes. "What do you know? Did you plan this?" Z tilted her head, unbothered. "Ask yourself, officer, who profits most if that drive disappears?" The words cut deep. James knew the drive contained proof, Faces, times, everything. Without it, the case would die before it began. Meanwhile, in the narrow back alleys near Wharf Road, the biker gang regrouped. The leader pulled off his helmet, revealing sharp eyes and a scar down his cheek. In his hand gleamed the stolen flash drive. He smirked. The bosses will be pleased. Behind him, the kidnapped officer groaned, hands bound, blood staining his uniform. The gang had taken both the drive and a hostage. Tonight, Lagos will forget this ever happened, the leader muttered. And those girls, they'll pay if they open their mouths. Back at Lagoon Hospital, Ada sat by her brother's bedside. Lanri stirred, whispering something faint. She leaned closer. His lips moved again. One word. A name. Z. Ada's eyes widened. She clutched his hand tighter. Who is Z? What did she do to you? His heartbeat monitor beeped steadily, but he slipped back into silence. Ada's stomach twisted. Somehow she knew this Z wasn't just another name. She was the shadow behind the chaos. At Orange Lounge, the fire was mostly contained. Amaka's wound was bandaged. She sat shaking, her beads stained with blood. Sade paced like a caged lioness. Without the drive, we're finished, she muttered. They'll come for us next. James loomed over them. You're not going anywhere until I get the truth. Who are those men? Who runs this? Amaka looked up, trembling. We don't know them. We just work with them sometimes. They promised protection. They promised phones, money, clothes. We didn't know it would go this far, Sade snapped. Shut your mouth, Amaka. You talk too much. But James pressed harder. Names. Give me names. For the first time, Amaka's eyes filled with courage. She whispered one chilling phrase. They're not just some street gang. They work for someone bigger, someone in uniform. James froze. His stomach sank. In uniform? That meant corruption. Inside the force. Before he could question further, a phone buzzed. Miriam's cheap Nokia. She picked it up, trembling. A voice on the other end was low and cold. Midnight. Wharf Road. Bring the girls, or your officer dies. The call ended. The room fell into heavy silence. James clenched his jaw. The choice was brutal. Protect the women who might be criminals, or sacrifice them to save his man. And in the corner, Z finally spoke, her voice smooth as poison. Looks like the night has already decided for you, officer. The question is, whose blood will it take next? The room was thick with smoke and tension. Officer James paced like a lion, his boots thudding against the burnt carpet. His wounded officer was gone, the flash drive was stolen, and now a gang had issued an ultimatum. Midnight at Wharf Road. The clock on the wall ticked toward 11 p.m. Time was running out. Amaka clutched her bandaged arm, eyes darting to Sade. We can't go there, Sade. They'll kill us. Sade's voice cracked like thunder. If we don't go, they'll kill us anyway. Don't you get it? We're trapped. Miriam sobbed quietly, tugging at her hoodie. She whispered, They promised to take care of us. They said it was just games, phones, clothes, fame. How did it come to this? All eyes turned to Z. She was the only one who didn't look broken. She leaned against the wall, arms folded, afro puff casting a shadow across her calm face. They won't kill me, she said, voice smooth. They need me. Officer James spun toward her, fury in his eyes. What do you mean, need you? Are you one of them? Z smiled faintly, tilting her head. You'll see soon enough. Her calmness was more dangerous than Sade's rage or Amaka's tears. It hinted at secrets buried deeper than the flames in the lounge. At Lagoon Hospital, Ada couldn't sit still. Lanra's faint whisper of Z still echoed in her ears. She pulled out her phone and called Tola. Tell me everything about these girls, especially Z. Tola hesitated. Ada, listen. Z isn't just another iPhone babe. She's connected. Some say she works with men who control half the black market in Lagos. Phones, guns, even contracts. She doesn't just want an iPhone. She wants power. Ada's hands trembled. She looked at her brother's pale face. If she's the reason my brother is lying here, I swear, she won't get away with it. Her decision was made. She was going to Wharf Road. Meanwhile, on Wharf Road itself, the biker gang gathered in a half-abandoned warehouse near the docks. The leader with the scarred cheek tossed the stolen flash drive onto a metal table. His men cheered, the roar of engines echoing outside, but his eyes were cold. We're not done. The officer, the old man, the girls, they all die tonight. No witnesses. One of his men hesitated. But Z... The leader slammed his fist on the table. Z answers to me. She was supposed to keep those girls in line, and now the police are sniffing around. If she wants to prove her loyalty, she'll deliver them herself. The gang erupted in cruel laughter. Back at Orange Lounge, Officer James gathered his men. We're going in. Wharf Road midnight. But we do it my way. No negotiations. We take them down. Sir, one officer said nervously. What about the girls? James's jaw tightened. They're bait. We use them to draw the gang out, then we strike. Amaka gasped. So you'll hand us over like goats for slaughter? Sade grabbed her arm. Shut up, Amaka. Do you want to live or not? Z only chuckled. Finally, you're speaking their language, officer. But remember, if you use us as bait, you'd better be sure you're the hunter, not the hunted. Her eyes gleamed in the dim light, a chilling promise. The old guard, Baba Segun, rose from his chair, his body trembling but his voice steady. Officer James, those men aren't ordinary criminals. I've seen them before. Some of them wear uniforms in the day. If you walk into Wharf Road thinking it's just a gang fight, you won't come out alive. The words struck like lightning. James's face hardened. Inside his chest, a truth he'd long suspected began to burn. This wasn't just crime. This was rot inside the system. The clock ticked to 11:30. Engines revved outside again. 3, 4, maybe 5 motorbikes. Officer James cocked his gun. Move out! Wharf Road awaits! As the group prepared, Z leaned close to Sade and whispered one sentence that made her blood run cold. Tonight we'll see who's really in charge, men with guns or women with hunger. The night wind at Wharf Road carried the sharp smell of salt water, oil, and rusted metal. The abandoned warehouses loomed like sleeping giants, their shadows stretching over cracked asphalt. Engines rumbled in the dark, the biker gang waiting, restless. Officer James's convoy pulled up quietly, headlights off. Inside one of the vans sat Amaka, Sade, Mariam, and Z. Their faces glowed faintly under the dim cabin light. Fear was written on 3 of them, but Z's face, calm, almost smug. Amaka whispered, clutching her beads. This is the end. I feel it. Sade hissed, Shut your mouth. We're not dead yet. But her voice shook too. Mariam buried her face in her hoodie, praying silently. Then Z leaned forward, her voice low but sharp as glass. Stop trembling. This is not the end. It's the beginning. Tonight, you'll see who truly runs Lagos. Her words sent a chill through them. Outside, Officer James positioned his men. Stay sharp. 2 teams. One watches the girls, the other circles wide. No one moves until I give the signal. Baba Segun, too old for this war, stood beside James, clutching a flashlight like it was a weapon. His heart pounded. Son, listen to me, he whispered. They won't play fair. Watch Z. She's the key. James gave him a hard look. If she double-crosses us, I'll put her down myself. Inside the warehouse, the gang leader with the scarred cheek slammed his fist on a metal drum. They're late. If they don't come soon, we kill the officer we took. The hostage groaned in the corner, his hands bound, uniform torn. Blood stained his chest. The gang's second-in-command grinned, twirling a knife. Maybe we don't wait. Maybe we show them we mean business. The leader sneered. Patience. They'll come. And when they do, we end them. He glanced at the stolen flash drive lying on the table, glowing faintly under a lamp. That drive is worth more than gold. With it, we own the city. midnight struck. The van stopped near the dock. The doors opened. Amaka stumbled out first, legs shaking. Sade followed, teeth clenched. Miriam dragged her hoodie tighter, and Z stepped out last, tall, steady, eyes locked on the warehouse like it was her throne. The bikers revved, surrounding them, headlights blazing. "Bring the girls inside," the scarred leader's voice boomed from within. The gang moved closer, but then, to James's shock, Z raised her hand. The bikers stopped. They froze, waiting. Like soldiers obeying a commander. James's eyes widened. "What the hell?" Z smiled faintly and stepped forward. "It's fine. They know me." The other girls gasped. Amaka choked. You set us up?" Z turned her head slowly, her calm voice cutting like ice. "No, Amaka, I led you. You thought you were queens of Lagos because men bought you phones. But I've been building something bigger. These men don't answer to you. They answer to me." Her words cracked like thunder. The gang leader appeared in the doorway, Scar catching the moonlight. "She speaks truth. Z isn't one of you. She's one of us." The girls staggered. Sade's fury broke. "You, snake! You used us! You made us believe—" Z silenced her with a single glance. "I don't believe in love, or pity, or men buying phones. I believe in power. And tonight, I choose who bleeds." She turned to the gang leader. "Where's the drive?" He held it up, smirking. "Safe. With this, we own everything." But James's voice thundered from the shadows. "Not if I take it first." Gunfire erupted. Sparks lit the night. Officers stormed the dock, bullets ricocheting off shipping containers. The bikers roared in, engines screaming. Chaos exploded, screams, shots, the clash of survival. Amaka fell to her knees, covering her head. Sade grabbed a broken pipe and swung wildly at a biker. Miriam froze, tears blinding her eyes. And Z? She slipped through the crossfire, calm, focused, moving toward the table where the flash drive gleamed. As bullets ripped the air, Baba Segan saw her. His old bones screamed, but his voice roared louder. "Officer James, she's going for it. Stop her." James spun, gun raised. But in that split second, Z's fingers closed around the flash drive. She lifted it high, fire reflecting in her eyes, and whispered, "Now I own the night." Bullets zipped through the dockyard, sparks flying off rusted containers. The night was a war zone. Sirens wailing in the distance, bikers roaring, officers shouting. And there in the middle of it all stood Z, tall and unflinching, the flash drive glittering in her hand like a crown jewel. Officer James's voice boomed, "Drop it now, Z!" He had her in his sights, finger tense on the trigger. But Z only laughed, the sound chilling in the chaos. "You think you're fighting thieves, officer? No, you're fighting the truth. This drive has the names of your own men, the ones who sell their uniforms to the night." James froze for half a second. His gut twisted. Could she be bluffing? Or was she holding evidence of the rot he'd long suspected in the force? That hesitation was enough. Z darted sideways, rolling behind a stack of crates. The gang leader shouted, "Cover her!" And his men unleashed a hail of bullets. Amaka screamed, dragging Miriam behind a broken barrel. Sade, wild with rage, snatched a biker's dropped machete and swung at another, sparks flying as metal clashed with metal. Baba Segan crawled for cover, chest heaving. "God, save these children," he whispered, clutching the ground as bullets tore above him. At Lagoon Hospital, Ada's phone buzzed violently, an unknown number. She picked it up with shaking hands. A man's voice hissed through the line. "Your brother's alive for now, but if you want him to stay that way, tell your police friend to back off Wharf Road." Ada's knees buckled. "Who is this?" The line went dead. She looked at Lanri's weak body on the bed. Her tears dried into fury. No, they won't win. She grabbed her jacket, stormed out of the hospital, and into the night, straight toward Wharf Road. Back at the docks, the battle turned bloodier. Police pushed forward, but the bikers were faster, circling like wolves. Flames licked the edges of stacked tires, smoke curling into the air. Through it all, Z crept toward the water. She had the drive, and now she wanted an exit. A boat waited, engine humming faintly, manned by 2 of her men. But Officer James wasn't done. He cut through the crossfire, pistol steady, eyes locked on her silhouette. "Z, it ends tonight." Z turned, her afro puff catching firelight, eyes gleaming. "No, officer, tonight it begins." She raised the flash drive as if it were a torch, shouting loud enough for everyone to hear. "This drive doesn't just expose my enemies, it exposes yours. Police, politicians, even judges. Kill me, and you bury the proof forever." The words silenced the battlefield for a heartbeat. Even the bikers paused. Even James's men looked at him, doubt flickering in their eyes. James clenched his jaw. He knew Lagos was sick, rotten at its core, but if Z truly had the evidence, killing her now might mean losing the only chance at justice. "Hand it over," he demanded. "We'll protect you." Z laughed again. "Protect me? Officer, I don't need protection. I need power." She dashed for the boat. James fired. A shot whistled past her shoulder. She stumbled but kept running. And just as she reached the dock's edge, a figure appeared out of the shadows. Ada. Her face was fierce, her brother's pain burning in her eyes. She blocked Z's path, arms spread wide. "You won't leave with that drive, not after what you did to Lanra." Z's smile faltered for the first time. "Little sister," she said softly, almost kindly, "you have no idea what storm you've stepped into." Ada's voice didn't shake. "Then let the storm come, but tonight, you answer for it." The dockyard erupted again. Gunfire, screams, engines roaring. And there, between the chaos and the crashing waves, stood 2 women facing each other, one holding power, the other holding fury. The night waited to see who would fall. The dockyard burned with chaos. Smoke curled into the night sky. Gunfire echoed against shipping containers, and the sound of engines roared like thunder. But all eyes locked on one scene. Ada, standing firm in the middle of Wharf Road, blocking Z's escape to the waiting boat. Z's breath came slow and steady. The flash drive gleamed in her hand. She tilted her head, sizing Ada up like a predator studying prey. "You're brave," she said softly, "but bravery without power is just suicide." Ada's fists clenched. "Power without conscience is destruction. You almost killed my brother for refusing to buy you a phone. How many lives will you crush before you're satisfied?" Z smirked. "Don't be naive. Phones were just the mask. This," she held the flash drive high, "is the real game. With it, I control everything." Behind them, Officer James yelled over the crossfire, "Ada, get down!" But Ada didn't move. She stood her ground, her brother's pain fueling her courage. Sade stumbled from behind a crate, machete still in hand, blood splattered on her dress. She glared at Z. "So it's true. You used us like pawns. All that talk about phones, men, soft life, it was all lies." Amaka crawled beside her, beads broken, tears streaking her face. "You betrayed us, Z. We followed you, and look where it brought us." Miriam sobbed. "We just wanted to survive. You turned us into killers." For the first time, cracks showed in Z's calm. Her jaw tightened, eyes flashing with irritation. "You think survival comes free? You wanted the soft life. I gave you a path, but you were too weak to walk it." The gang leader with the scar stormed forward, gun raised. "Enough talking. Get in the boat, Z. We end this now." But Z didn't move. Her gaze locked on Ada, who refused to step aside. "You want justice, little sister?" Z said, her voice low and dangerous. "Then take it from me." She lunged. Ada ducked, snatching up a broken iron rod from the ground. Sparks flew as the rod clashed with Z's wrist, knocking the flash drive loose. It clattered across the dock. Time froze. Everyone saw it. The gang, the officers, the iPhone babes. That tiny piece of plastic became the center of the world. "Get it!" the scarred leader roared. Bikers leapt, police surged. Sade swung her machete wildly to clear a path. Amaka crawled desperately, reaching out. Miriam screamed, pointing. Baba Sagun, limping, threw himself into the chaos, arms outstretched. God give me strength! Z shoved Ada aside and dove for the drive, but Officer James was faster. He slid across the dock, hand snapping around the flash drive just as Z's fingers grazed it. He stood, gun in one hand, drive in the other, face hard as steel. It's over, Z. But Z only smiled, a wicked, knowing smile. No, officer, it's just begun. Her whistle pierced the air. From the shadows, more engines roared to life. Dozens more bikers streamed into the dockyard, headlights blinding, weapons gleaming. The ground shook beneath them. James's men faltered. They were outnumbered 3-1. Ada grabbed her brother's old words in her heart. Peace, family, sense. She stepped to James's side, lifting the iron rod like a soldier. Then we fight. The final storm was here. The dockyard was a battlefield lit by fire and headlights. The roar of engines drowned the ocean waves as dozens of bikers swarmed Wharf Road. Their tires screeched, guns blazing, machetes glinting in the night. Officer James gripped the flash drive in one hand and his pistol in the other. Beside him, Ada stood tall, iron rod clenched like a spear. Behind them, his remaining officers braced for impact, faces pale but eyes burning with resolve. Z stepped forward, her calm broken at last. Fury flickered in her eyes. Give me the drive, James. That's not evidence, it's destiny. Without it, Lagos remains blind. With it, I make the rules. James aimed his gun squarely at her. You've already spilled enough blood. This ends now. Z smirked through the chaos. Then stop me. The bikers charged. Gunfire exploded. Sparks flew from metal as bullets ricocheted. Officers fired back, dropping 2 riders, but more poured in like a flood. Tires skidded dangerously close, engines screaming. Sade, wild and fearless, swung her machete into the chest of a rider, knocking him off his bike. She screamed like a warrior, rage fueling her every move. Amaka, wounded but desperate, hurled broken bottles, her face twisted in terror. Miriam crawled behind crates, crying, "We'll all die here!" Ada stood her ground. A biker lunged with a chain. She ducked, swinging the iron rod with all her strength. It cracked against his jaw, sending him crashing into the fire. She gasped, her whole body shaking, but her eyes burned brighter. "For Lanri!" she screamed. Baba Sagan, breath ragged, limped into the fray, wielding nothing but his flashlight. He swung it into a biker's eyes, blinding him long enough for an officer to fire. "Not tonight," he wheezed. "Not while I still breathe." In the chaos, Z slithered like a shadow, eyes locked on James's fist. The flash drive. Her whole empire hung on that tiny thing. She lunged. James fired, bullet grazing her arm. She snarled but didn't stop, tackling him. The drive flew from his hand, spinning across the dock, landing dangerously close to the edge where black water lapped hungrily. Both of them dove. Ada sprinted too, rod clattering as she threw herself into the scramble. Z's fingers brushed the drive first. Her smile returned. Victory was seconds away. Crack! Ada's rod slammed onto Z's wrist. The drive bounced free again, sliding toward the water. Time froze. Everyone screamed. Then, Baba Sagun, trembling but unyielding, dove flat onto his belly, hand outstretched. His old fingers closed around the flash drive just as it teetered over the edge. He rolled onto his back, clutching it to his chest like a holy relic. Z's scream tore through the night. "No!" James aimed his gun, fury in his voice. "It's over, Z. Surrender." The bikers faltered. With their leader exposed, some fled. Others dropped weapons, panic setting in. The scarred gang leader cursed and fired wildly before an officer's bullet dropped him. Z stood, blood dripping from her arm, firelight flickering in her eyes. She looked at James, then Ada, then the trembling guard holding the drive. For the first time, she looked cornered. "You think you've won?" she hissed. "Even with the drive, you'll find nothing but rot. Lagos belongs to men like me, and women like me." Ada stepped forward, voice steady. No, Lagos belongs to the people who refuse to bow to monsters like you. James's voice cut through the air. Z Okafor, you are under arrest. Z laughed bitterly. She opened her mouth to speak again, but this time, no words came. Officers closed in, forcing her to the ground, cuffs biting into her wrists. The dockyard quieted, engines died, flames hissed out in the wind. The war was over. Hours later, dawn broke over Lagos. The flash drive was locked in evidence. Inside it lay videos, names, and numbers, proof of corruption that ran deep. Lanry opened his eyes in the hospital, Ada clutching his hand in tears. "It's over, brother," she whispered. "You're safe." Said, Amaka, and Miriam were taken into custody, their soft life dreams shattered. Baba Segan sat quietly, staring at the rising sun, whispering, "The night does not forget, but the morning brings light." And Z? She sat in the back of a police van, her afro puff tangled, her lips curved in a faint, unbroken smile. "This isn't the end," she whispered to herself. "The city still owes me." But for now, Lagos breathed again. If you were gripped by this story, don't forget to like, comment, Justice Always Wins, and subscribe for more thrilling African folktale stories that keep you on the edge of your seat.